A few years ago, I began learning how to drive my truck. With my truck being a stick shift, this was a near impossible feat for me to do without killing my truck repeatedly. I would go on drives with my mom, usually on the weekends, to improve my starting skill. Honestly, it took a while. We would go from my house through Flournoy, just passing Pasquina, and then loop back to home. On these drives, we would go by some of the most impressive scenes. Beautiful rolling hills with lone trees at the top, amazingly colored horses, and even a cemetery. Out of all these things, the cemetery caught my attention the most. I was with my mom, and we could tell it hadn't been visited or maintained in a long time. There were holes in the ground from various animals, and a few of the headstones were cracked, all obvious signs of neglect, but the trees were wonderful. They were tall and flowy and just natural. It wasn't that it was a cemetery, but the idea of it. The peaceful serenity in which one could just sit and think for a while. That's what stood out to me. So that's exactly what I did. I sat and thought for a while. I don't remember what I thought about or how important it was, but that's not what matters. Maybe I thought about my friends, my boyfriend, maybe even about art. Who knows? I do know, however, that on that day, when I went home, I just felt better. About myself, about life, about everything. If you don't have a quiet place of your own to go and think, then your brain will become overwhelmed and you get stressed out easily. I've noticed this happen to me before. I get too frustrated over things that are just so unimportant in the overall scheme of things. I realized this happened mostly when I had something on my mind, but didn't have time to think. When this happens, I generally just have to stop, calm down, and think about why I'm getting so annoyed. This usually helps me a lot. I've been in situations in my life when I didn't want to be around anybody, I didn't want to talk to anybody, and it was okay for a while. I needed time to think. Nobody could help me other than myself by slowly working on my problems. Sometimes I just put on music and paint, other times I'll do crazy makeup just because I can. They're both distractions that allow me time to think. If you're feeling frustrated or stressed, find something you love to do and take a while to sit and think about whatever things may be bothering you. If you think about them, you may realize it's not that big of a deal and that there's no reason stressing out over it. Or you may find a solution to your problem in your thoughts. You never know until you try it. It's not what you think about that matters, but the outcome. If it helps you relieve your stress, then that's good. If it helps you solve a problem, that's good too. There are many reasons to simply sit and think for a while. Stopping and taking the time to think about various aspects of your life can help you mentally and relieve stress. Even if it's just momentarily, it's a wonderful thing. This, I believe.